Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We're going to pour one out. We have a sad Chicago pour one out coming out in just about 6-7 minutes here. But first, a fact that makes your brain go. What is boomer asking? Boomer asking. So this is a new thing out there in Chicago. Maybe someone's going to say it to you if you do it. Now, Kenzie thinks it's when you ask the same question over and over and over again. How do I change the clock on my microwave? Something like that. Then Case thinks it is.
Just whatever you're doing with your iPhone 16 lately.
I got so many questions, but it is the greatest invention ever. It's changed my life for the better. It's really cool. Oh, so boomer asking is this. It's not what Kenzie said. It's not what Case said.
What?
It is when you ask a question solely to end up talking about yourself. That's boomer asking. For example, if someone goes on vacation, you will say, how was your vacation? And before you let them answer, you go, mine was great. And then you proceed to talk about your vacation. Or you might say, how's work going? And before you let the person finish, yeah, well, I've had the worst week ever. Let me tell you about this. And that is boomer asking, when you ask a question only to talk about yourself.
So Brian does all the time. In the studio, what Brian does, he'll be like, how was your weekend? And then as you answer, he goes, right on. And then he tells, which means he's not listening.
Right,
and
right
then
on
he
is the key.
tells you, he's usually looking at his phone, and there's a big, right on. And then he tells you a long story that he obviously really wanted to tell you. And it's like, okay.
It's pretty accurate. By the way, good impersonation on my right. Do it again.
Right on.
That's the tell. That's my bluff that I'm listening to you, and I'm not when I go, yeah, right on. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bad habit. You should be a good listener to people when you ask them a question, and you should be sincere about that question. And occasionally I am, asking that. But I'll try to work on that. Now that this has all come to light here, I'm going to work on it a little bit.
Sometimes when I know, because like Brian gets here first, and then I get here, and then Kenzie gets here. And sometimes if I come in on a Monday and I know Brian's going to have a story from the weekend, I won't even say hi. I'll just say to him, all right, Mumford & Sons, go. I don't want to have the small talk. I don't want to have you do the boomer asking where you're like, oh, you have a good weekend? So I was with Marcus Mumford. Just get to it. I want to cut out the fat.
Mm-hmm. That's a really accurate point. Because I feel like I have to pretend I care about Case's weekend.
Why do we have to keep up the whole charade? Brian, tell us about your weekend.
Sometimes I just walk in and start talking now because I want to cut off all pleasantries. I just want to get to whatever he's got to say so we can then move on with our morning.
Yeah, well, the problem is...
what's the problem?
Is that when you come in, you're very angry about taking the bus.
I'm not. The bus is fine.
You're like, I say, hey, and you go, hey. You're very grumpy when you get in.
Can we have a conversation about this?
Oh, boy. Let me get my popcorn. Kenzie, get your popcorn. I don't know what he's going to talk about.
I don't know. Like, we have a conversation about that. It makes it sound like we did something wrong. It's not our fault you're on the bus. We need to talk. Sorry.
I think he's going to play a little victim here. Let's see what happens.
I'm not going to play
I'll
victim.
play a little victim. How belittling.
He's unbelievable. When I walk in the morning,
yes,
you do something that bothers me to no end.
Okay, let's get into it.
I've never told you about it. I know.
Hold on. I'm glad people are listening right now. This is good. This is rare.
I know I'm going to come across like a bad guy, but it drives me nuts, and I think about it constantly.
Let's go.
So, to set the scene, Brian gets here first, and we go to the studio, and he puts together the show, over in his throne that he sits in with the board and the computers, and he's got, 9 monitors over there, whatever it is. So, the door is behind him. I walk in behind him. And every morning, as soon as I open the door, he goes, yo, how's it going? And the yo, oh, God, does it drive me nuts. Because I want to ease into the morning.
Yeah.
I want to sit down and get the hey. And then 5 minutes later, I'll be ready to talk. But you kind of ambush me when I walk in the door.
I do.
And you hit me with a yo. And then
it totally gives you the ick.
It feels like then I got to perform. I got to spin plates. I got to tap dance. I got to do something. Let me get settled in.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for you to spin plates. I want someone that's coming in here, kicks the door open, It's Stone Cold coming in. That's what I need. I need the Stone Cold music every time you come in.
I have the same thing when I walk in. He doesn't say yo, but he goes, hello. That's what he does when I walk in.
Hello, Miss Lady.
He's
So
a
he does that.
character.
And I just go, hi. And I sit down.
Yeah.
Like you could just I don't feel the need to spin a plate. I'm like, hello.
I want
and then
plates.
I just go do what I want to do.
I want plates.
But you know what I mean when you do the yo thing.
I know
right?
you're both telling the truth. I understand.
Do it. How do you do it?
Yo.
Yeah, that's it.
Sup,
Yeah.
son?
And then it'll be like, so how's it going? It's like, yeah, I'm fine. Just let me get there.
And then Kenzie walks on. I go like, hello, Miss Lady.
And I don't let it bother me. I go, hi. And
she
then I
does
just
that.
move on.
She goes, I. That's what she does. I.
And then I go do stuff.
Yeah. Listen, I've already been going. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. I'm all on at that point.
Yeah.
I expect everybody else to walk in at that same energy level. I don't snooze. I get out of bed, pop when the alarm goes off. I get in the shower. I eat some egg whites. I get in the car. I get here. Ja! Let's go. No rest for the wicked. I want everybody else on that level.
But I get on that level like 2 minutes later. We had a great time before the show this morning. We were making fun of country music's biggest stars. It was fantastic.
It was great. And that's
great
what I
time.
needed. I need that to
Yeah.
get my brain working here. We get up at 3 a.m. It can't work right away. We gotta go.
Yeah.
And then I said to Kenzie, hello, Miss Lady. And she goes, hi. How is it going? All right. This was great criticism, the constructive criticism. As a boomer asking, that's what we got here.
Yeah.
Somehow we got there with that. I'm telling you, I'm not going to change.
I know. Trust me. I know.
Yeah.
I know
Everybody
how you are.
knows.
Yeah, that's where we're at. But that's where we are. I'm not getting therapy. This is how we go. This is how we do it. This is how we proceed to
I'm
win.
getting therapy.
Yeah.
Thanks for the clarification.
This is how we win. This is how we do it.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Yeah, I think
Things are going well here.
things are going good. All right, there we go. Hi. There's the fact that makes your brain go somehow out of that. I'm not changing. I'm not leaving.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q 101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We already poured one out this morning for the Belmont Army Vintage Store on Belmont that is going to close 50% off on everything there after 50 years. Great part of the Belmont and Clark If You Dare generation, and one more piece of our culture in that neighborhood going away. And when you go to concerts in the metro, it's always like, oh, stop over there and get something. You know, it's too bad. But another pour one out coming that affects probably 90% of the people listening also in Chicago, that is also has a terrifying angle with this going away. What's going to happen in its wake when this goes away? And we'll explain that in about 10 minutes. But first, for our drinkers out there, for people like to get a drink on, is Illinois ranking okay in excessive drinking in the country? So there's been studies showing that the newer generations of Americans, I should say, younger people are drinking less than those before them. It goes every generation past. The oldest ones, they drink the most. But it's still estimated that 1 in 6 adults are binge drinkers, according to a newly released annual report. I kind of qualify myself as a binge drinker because I don't drink every day, not even every week. But then when I do drink, let's go. I'm in. Like last weekend, I drank quite a bit.
All right.
And I want to get my buzz on. I don't want to have one drink.
What about the weekend before that?
Let's see, what did I do that weekend?
That was St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, jeez.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I binge drank 2 last weekend.
And then what about the week before that? Because you were getting ready for St. Patrick's Day. And you had to build up a tolerance.
I think you know what? You're right. Okay, the last 3 weekends have been binge drinking.
Okay, but what about a month ago?
I don't remember because I was binge drinking. I don't remember. So I'm not saying this is a healthy behavior. You shouldn't do this, but I usually like to drink a lot when I drink. I just don't drink that often, anymore anyway. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I get my buzz on.
Good.
So how to...
I like that you use, I'm trying to get my buzz on as like a legal defense. Your Honor, I'm trying to get my buzz on.
I was trying to get a buzz. What do you want from me? Sorry, I walked into the bank and robbed it. I was just trying to get my buzz on.
Come on now.
Binge drinking means 4 or more drinks in one occasion for women, 5 for men. That's me. I don't know, Kenzie, how much you drink in like one sitting. If you're drinking, you don't drink very often either, I don't think.
No, I'm not a big drinker. I really usually only do it if we're out for something special. So like we'll go out for our anniversary. I'll get a cocktail. My birthday, I'll get a drink.
Is it more than one then?
What?
Is it like 4 then or 5?
No, I would be, and that's not me putting you down. I just literally would be on the floor. Like I would say after 2 drinks, I get very loopy. If I have a third drink, I'm gonna be insane for 30 minutes and I'm gonna fall asleep. So usually 2 drinks is where I feel really good, like, then I'm fine. I don't even think I would drive after 1 drink, though. I just feel like I have a low tolerance in that way.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't. No one should be driving at all.
Well, a lot of people could have, like, 1 beer, and then, like, an hour later they'll drive, like, after something small, like,
Yeah.
1. But I'm not even, like, a lot of people have, like, if I have more than 2, I don't drive. It's like, I'm not good on anything. Like, I'm not going to drive.
It's weird because it also doesn't depend on tolerance or your weight. 1 beer can just affect people differently with driving. It just messes you up. Even if you're 300 pounds, this happens. So you should never do that. You got plenty of options with Uber and the CTA and all that. Case does not drink alcohol.
I do not.
Never had a drink.
No.
You think you're going to have one in 2025 at all or no?
What do you know that I don't? I wasn't planning on it.
Well, you've been concerned about a lot of things like AI lately. A drink might knock the edge off a little bit, you know?
You think I'm a little uptight?
Yeah, a little uptight, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm not planning on it.
Okay, I was just curious.
I'm surrounded by a lot of people now. I'm 26, and a lot of my friends have already quit drinking. I don't know a lot of people my age in my own circle that drink now.
Are they smoking weed?
I mean, yeah, they're cool. But no, I have a lot of friends that I guess do weed, but I don't have a lot of friends that drink alcohol anymore.
You just sounded 900 years old.
On your 21st birthday, did you, like, toast or anything? Like, what'd you do?
My 21st birthday, no, I watched the 2020 NBA All-Star Game and ordered Wingstop.
Okay, well, you saved yourself on that one.
How did Wingstop make that better?
Yeah,
If you were just at home watching the NBA All-Star Game on your 21st birthday, loser! But since you got Wingstop, not so bad. Not so bad. I can see that. Well, anyway, how Illinois stacks up. This is a University of Wisconsin study that we're about in the middle of the pack. About 19% people self-reporting as being excessive drinkers, which means that binge drinking, having 8 or more drinks for women in 1 week. Kenzie, that's 8 drinks in a week. And
that seems like a lot.
And 5 for men.
It's higher?
No, I'm sorry. That's wrong. 15 for men.
15 for men.
If you drink 15 drinks a week, you're an excessive drinker. For women, it's 8. Excessive.
How many would you say you have?
Well, again, these last few weeks has been very an anomaly, if you will.
But the months before that it's about the same. And then it was Christmas.
I mean, I had 8 in one. I had 8 after the Lizzie's broadcast.
Good Lord.
So I got my whole week's almost worth there.
I mean, weren't you like, if you have 8, are you just like a disaster? I can't even imagine.
I was feeling good.
He actually focuses more.
I was feeling all right. So I agree. 15 drinks a week is a lot on the reg.
That's good.
Yeah, on the reg.
You agree.
Yeah, and 19%. So a fifth of the state says they do that. A fifth of Illinois.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And
I'm not judgy. I'm just like, I wouldn't be able to handle it.
Yeah. It's however you do, whatever you do to get the edge off on AI taking over the world. Iowa has 25%, Wisconsin 24%, and Indiana 17%. Indiana less than Illinois as far as being excessive drinkers.
That
say it like
me.
that with that tone.
What was that case?
That shocks me.
That shocks you, and you think
Why?
Kenzie? You think it's on brand, Kenzie, or no? That they should be less than
They
Illinois?
probably are more relaxed. It's better. Everything's more affordable. Like, you're hanging out.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's how you categorize yourself as an excessive drinker. Are you? 15 drinks a week for men, 8 drinks a week for women. And text us in. Let us know what you do.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. AJR tickets coming up in about 7 minutes. But first, you did something unwillingly. It's not your fault. But you did something to compromise your privacy to a level that's terrifying. And it might have been your last bit of privacy left. And I'm really sorry about that. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. It's just what happened. And we're going to pour one out that's going to relate to it. We'll get rid of the Death March music for a second as we pour.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll pour one out here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we're pouring one out for something that caused your privacy, the last bit of it, to go away. And what that is.
Just your privacy.
Oh,
Pour one out.
We probably could just do that.
Your life's over. Pour one out.
We're pouring one out for 23andMe. Now, we'll get to why this relates to your privacy, but they filed for bankruptcy seeking to sell the Ancestry company. That's key here because sometimes bankruptcy, they want to get reorganization through the government, and then they want to keep the company, the original owners, or somebody might buy into it. They're just saying, we're selling the whole thing. We're out.
How did they become bankrupt?
Well, we'll get to
Somebody
that.
spits in a cup and you charge them $150.
Maybe someone figured out, I'm not going to do that.
Wait, hold on. Kenzie, what's their business model?
You spit in a cup and they're like, that'll be $150. How did you F that up? Like, what are you doing?
Well, listen, I don't know what they're doing with that spit in the cup for the $150. Maybe not what you think. Of course, you're supposed to get information back about your life and your whole ancestry.
Yeah, whatever. They send you a sheet that's like, you're European. People are like, okay, thanks. It's ridiculous. They're like, okay.
Have you done this at all?
No, I refuse. Under no circumstance am I doing this. I don't need to find anything out that's going to ruin my life.
But there's
And
a
then
lot,
spend money on it.
but there's a lot in there when you spit in that cup on you.
No thanks.
I would love to see that chart.
So this
No
move,
way.
by the way, of them selling the company came after it agreed as a settlement related to the 2023 data breach. So they already had this breach of privacy. And I guess basically with the lawsuits, they're just done, 23andMe. So along with its well-known genetic testing service, the company also operates a national online doctor's office, which provided, quote, medical care, pharmacy fulfillment, and laboratory testing services. Seems like an odd side hustle in there, but they already had your spit, so I guess they can do
Yeah.
what they want to help you out.
They're like, you're European and you have strep.
That's all they gave you for that
Two
spit in
for
the cup.
one.
So this is a key sentence in this story, by the way. The serious tone here. The winning bidder on the company would have to comply with applicable privacy laws pertaining to the storage, management, and protection of your consumer data. Ha! I say, ha! They're not complying to anything to people that buy that company. Can you imagine buying everybody's DNA in the country and they say, you have the files, but don't look at them. You can't do anything with them, right?
Hands down. Like, could the FBI buy it? Because that's what's going to happen. It's like, we have this private bidder. It's Elon Musk. That's so good.
And I'm going to do nothing with the data. I promise.
But that's my concern because I've never participated in any of these. Kenzie's afraid of it ruining her life from a cheating scandal. I just don't want anybody having
Is that what she said?
Well, that's what you mean, right?
I don't need to find out I have a sister. I'm fine. It's
yeah.
her business. I don't know her. You don't know what you don't have.
I
I'm
would
good.
love you to find out you had like 5 more sisters.
I don't want to deal with that at all. I don't want to unpack it.
And I don't want to deal with 23andMe filing for bankruptcy and then some billionaire nerd buys it and all of a sudden he's got access to everybody's DNA and all of a sudden now we have robots and girl bots because these people can't find girlfriends and then we're
Wait, what does that have to do with it?
Because here's what's
You're
going to happen.
raving here. You're frothing at the mouth.
Because here's what's going to happen. Some billionaire nerd's going to buy it that can't find a girlfriend. So he's going to take our DNA. He's going to make Superwoman, Mega Woman Metropolis. And then she's going to lead an army and take us all over and kill us.
So if they had
I've seen some people who've submitted their DNA to this. I don't know if Mega Woman Apocalypse is going to come out of it.
listen, if Kenzie's DNA, if they had her DNA, you think the nerd's going to make a Kenzie, maybe multiple Kenzies to be their wives?
If you were a billionaire nerd,
Then you could have dated me.
or
You didn't have to make
She
one.
was looking
You
for
were
you.
a billionaire? You should have DM'd me. It wouldn't have been that hard.
well, now you're off the market, and now they can make you. So how does that make you feel?
I did not spit into a cup, so you can't.
I don't believe. I
You did
think
not
you've-
have to jump to this level.
I think you've spit into a cup once in your life somewhere. I don't know.
Not for DNA testing.
My man.
All right, well, this is terrifying, again, because to Case's point, and he made this very clear 3 times, the billionaire nerd that's going to buy it is going to make robots out of your DNA.
Is no one else panicking about this? That
Well, it's just going to be called 23 and everyone. Because it's going to be public information.
like we have to sit back and think about this for a second. It's fun to pour one out. Our DNA is going to be up for sale to the highest bidder.
Well, the people that admitted to spit in a cup for $150,
Yeah.
not you, me, or Kenzie. None of us did it. I would have done it. I don't care. I think I would like to find out if I had a sister out there or a brother. I'm fine with it. I mean, you guys are against that, I see, but I'm okay with seeing if there's something else going on. in my life.
What, you think there's like money out there you don't know about?
Well, of course. If I can find an heir, maybe I can finally buy a house in Chicago. It'd be
There
great.
is no king has been like, I wonder who I'm related to and spit in a cup. You're not going to find anything.
You don't think I'm going to find a king?
No, they're busy. They don't want to know somebody. They know that they have kids they don't know about. They don't want to have to deal with that.
There's one more out there, and it could be me. I'm 6'4" and 1/4. The rest of my family's like 5'11". What the hell? You know, maybe.
God, you're you're like the ninth wonder of the world.
That's right.
How is this possible?
Maybe I got left in that turn thing at the firehouse.
Do you think you're like related to Andre the Giant and you're going to get some of his inheritance money?
It's funny that's the one you go to as the tallest man. You know, that's your tall representative in your brain.
He's a giant. It's in his name.
I understand. But there's no other tall people you can think of?
okay.
Mark Cuban's 6'4". Why couldn't I be Mark Cuban's kid, a billionaire kid?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
How old is Mark Cuban? Isn't he like potentially younger than you?
No, he's not. He's like,
He's not. Mark Cuban's not younger. I just looked up his age. He's not younger than Brian.
no, he's like in his
Wait,
60s.
same zone,
Oh.
correct?
He could have had a kid at like 14,
Or like 4?
somewhere in there. Mark Cuban, I'm looking in your direction, son. Dad? I'd love to know, and we'll get these AJR tickets away here in a second, but if anybody did these tests and found out that they had a brother or a sister or the wrong dad or the wrong mom, if anybody had that, call up right now, 312-591-8300.
Do you remember that docuseries from Indiana of the guy who was a doctor and he was in charge of like artificial insemination, and now like all the kids in that town are related to each other because he used his own stuff without asking permission, and it's like super weird.
The whole town is his sibling or his kids. Yeah.
Like I'm not even kidding. It's like over 40 now, 50.
Yeah.
And it's a small town, and they're worried about like how many other people he did this to because they're like, well, what if our kids start dating kids and they don't know? Like,
Yeah.
it's so weird.
Then they'll have like 3 heads because it'll be incest, you know, and the DNA shouldn't go together.
It's creepy. I feel so bad.
312-591-8300. Call for AJR tickets, or we'll give those out right now. AJR in Tinley Park from our great friends at Live Nation. But also, if you have a story about you did one of these tests, Ancestry.com, 23andMe, if you did one of those and you found out something shocking, hit us up.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We have some Silver Sun pickups tickets to give away in a few minutes at the end of music and entertainment news. We've talked a lot about Lollapalooza over the last couple of weeks with the announcement and the days of the headliners, and also the tickets selling incredibly fast, record pace. Today, a book comes out, Lollapalooza, the uncensored story of alternative rock's wildest festival. It's in stores today, or you can probably buy it on Amazon or whatever. It features original interviews with Perry Farrell, Billy Corgan, Billy Joe Armstrong, Eddie Vedder, Tom Morello, and more. And the book covers Lala's initial run as a touring festival from 91 to 97. It really is a super amazing, in-depth interview. And Case, you interviewed the guys of this book, correct?
I did. It's 2 authors. They wrote an oral history a few years ago on the Sunset Strip and the bands of LA in the 80s, and then they followed up with this one. And I got an advance copy of the book. I read it. I talked to the guys. That interview lives on Q101's YouTube channel. I would highly recommend it. But if you're somebody who spent your summer in Tinley Park, 1991, 1992, all the way through 97, and you loved the original incarnation of Lollapalooza, I cannot recommend this book enough. It is one of my favorite music books of all time now. I love when an oral history comes out like this. This one was so entertaining from start to finish. It puts you back in that world of the original touring Lollapalooza.
And when you were talking to Tom Bonjour,
Bonjour.
Ooh, that's fancy.
you say that, Kenzie.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. He's the author, and Case asked him a question about, like, who's the MVP of the book with so many of the wild cast of characters, and turns out it's our own Chicago guy, Al Jorgensen of Ministry.
I think Al Jorgensen might be the MVP because, like, he at that time in 1992 was so out of his mind on drugs, but also just completely out of his mind anyway. And the whole band, you know, they're collecting roadkill and then stripping it down to the bones to build microphone stands. They're like lighting their bus on fire with fireworks. And my favorite kind of interview is the guys who, they're not really condoning what they did, but are kind of aware on some level that they're still alive, but what they did back then when they were, not well is cool as hell.
Al Jorgen's an interesting character, and back in the older days, back in the wild fun days they're talking about, boy, seeing Ministry in Chicago back then was a unique experience. At one time, walking out with 7 guitar players on stage because he just trying to get that wall of sound from NWO or Jesus Built My Hot Rod, and it was very unique. And that's pretty cool that he's in the book in a very big way.
He's awesome at it.
Lollapalooza, the uncensored story of alternative rock's wildest festival, in stores today. So we had talked a little while ago, I think a week or two ago, about how Gene Simmons of Kiss was going to charge people almost $13,000 to be his assistant for his solo tour. Kenzie loved that. She jumped right on it, and she was ready.
What a scam! Like instead of paying personal assistants, what I'm gonna do is post this, and have people pay me to do it all the time. It's insane.
Kenzie has this going up on her website right now. You can check it out. Because
I need a personal assistant too, and it will only cost you $5,000.
It's available now because Gene Simmons canceled his and his entire solo tour, that opportunity, because Kiss had announced in December of 2023 their final show, and they're going to exist in holograms starting in 2027 going forward. So Kiss will stay young forever. Nope, they're going to do a show without their makeup on in Vegas later in this year. The Kiss Army storms Vegas, a 3-day event, and they will perform. So
Yeah, no makeup?
it says no makeup.
Put the makeup on.
I mean, if
Makeup
you're
on.
if you're a Kiss Army fan, maybe you want to see them. It was a big deal. This is way before my time, even when they took the makeup off.
Uh-huh.
And I remember it was like, oh, and then everybody said kind of the same thing you said. Maybe put it back on.
Actually,
Like that's your thing. You chose that. Keep the makeup on.
Yeah.
either
You
keep the
can take it
makeup
off
on
now.
or just go away. Just go. I can't believe they get away with this.
Well, they get away with it
Be
because,
nice. They can be a band.
well,
That's mean.
listen, when you're lying to the people that pay you money, but they still pay it, so who's the fool? Because if someone's going to pay to go see it because they want to see it, I think people that go see
What do you
Kiss,
mean they're lying to the people who see their show?
because they've had about 23 farewell concert tours. This is the last one.
In fairness, a lot of people have done that.
Not to
like
the
a
level.
lot.
You're right, but not to the level of Kiss. They've done it.
That's insane.
I'm trying to think, and Kenzie, we were just brainstorming for a second when you walked away for a minute. Is there a band that said it was a farewell tour and they lived up to it to the top of your head? Do you think of one? Like I thought of Led Zeppelin and the Beatles.
It had to be someone that just died suddenly.
No,
After
they have
instead
to
of
be
a
alive.
chance.
They have to be alive.
Because that was the only chance. Because Cher did this a million times too. I'm hoping she still comes back after her last farewell tour.
Well, REM stuck to their word.
They're one.
REM said, this is our last album. We're going to play a few shows, and then we're done. And they've been done, despite my pleading with them to come back.
Yeah, and
They've
like
been
how
done.
annoying is it? You know what I mean? Like, hey, you didn't mean that, did you?
I don't understand why they keep doing it. Just their fans love Kiss, so they would go see every show. I think. Did it really bring more people in by saying it's our last tour? Maybe it did. I don't know the analytics and the data analysis of that.
Well, we know somebody that flew to New York to go see their last show, and now he doesn't have that memory anymore because they're going to play without their makeup on in Vegas. What a ripoff.
Yeah.
If you saw them the last time with their makeup on, though, that counts. You know what I mean? Like, after me, they only did no makeup shows. Like, bleh, who cares?
Yeah.
What was that noise you just made, Kenzie?
Bleh. Like, you know what I mean? That's not even like seeing them. You're seeing like it's not even like the whole. It's not like the thing.
Go with God. God bless. If you want to go see him again, go. But I never believe a band is at the end. To Kenzie's point, if someone dies, I guess Led Zeppelin and the Beatles kind of had that situation. The REM didn't. They
Still alive.
Yeah, they're all still alive. Is there another one I'm thinking of? That
I can't
just
think of anybody who said this is it.
like
And
last year at Riot Fest, NoFX said they were done. They did 3 nights.
Yeah.
And they were there every night, and that was supposed to be
then,
the
well, we'll
end.
see because that was just last year. I mean,
Listen, money goes fast. And all of a sudden you say farewell and you think you have enough. And your accountant says to you, you guys were a popular band. Why'd you stop touring?
Have you seen ticket prices?
They're the highest in the history of anybody being alive ever. And you're going to retire? Dummies.
Now, Elton John had his farewell show. He hasn't played a show since, but Elton John is also ancient, so that's borderline.
well,
if
he's
that
also
counts.
having medical struggles. It's
Exactly.
different.
Yeah, I think he went blind, right? He had some weird
Yeah.
thing with his sight.
But it's like it was a side effect, like from like some type of disease, though. I think.
Yeah, you should be allowed to retire then.
Now, Daft Punk they said they're done, and they haven't played a show since they called it quits. But boy, does that feel like there's a $1 billion offer waiting for them at some point.
Yeah. I mean, just keep going. People always say, like, why don't you guys retire? Why? It's like, you're in a rock band at 80. Why wouldn't you keep playing?
Why does nobody want to go on vacation? All I want to do is live on a vacation. And, like, I see all these people who could do it. They have all this money, and they're like, let's go work. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
It's God's little twist.
Life.
God's little toying with you, isn't he, Kenzie, on that
It's
one?
just watching people live my dream. Come work for me. That you do my job. I'll take your money. If you want to work.
All right, so
insane.
more music entertainment news. The original unaired Family Guy pilot episode has been discovered after never being seen for 30 years. So somebody had this somewhere on a DVD and uploaded it, and then the internet knew. So in 2003, Family Guy released a DVD that featured the first 7 minutes of the pilot as a bonus feature, but the full episode, which totals 15 minutes, has never been seen before now. You can watch the full episode at Q101.com.
Yes, you can.
Case hasn't left Q101.com since he found this and uploaded it. The difference is from Family Guy, as we know from today, like Chris Griffin being voiced by someone other than Seth Green, Stewie wearing purple and green overalls, and Lois having blonde hair instead of red hair. And I have a clip from this episode. So you can go to Q101.com. No one has ever seen or heard this ever. And do I need to set up this case or no?
No, this is just the original incarnation of Family Guy.
Here it is. Here's what it sounded like, and enjoy.
Peter, where did that TV come from?
Dad's getting $150,000 a week in welfare. Isn't that cool?
What? This money came from the government?
Yeah. Hey, maybe somebody down there was drinking too, huh?
Mr. President, why has the government made so few strides with regard to environmental legislation?
Probably because you're so fat.
Peter, we need to talk about this welfare thing. It's obviously an oversight.
Of course it is, honey, and that's why we're going to start living like rich guys.
Peter, what are you going to do? Spend $150,000 a week?
Yeah?
On what?
Yeah, I'd like 6,000 chicken fajitas, please.
I beg your pardon?
6,000 chicken fajitas with sauce.
And a sausage McMuffin, please.
And a sausage McMuffin. Wow, they had it from day one, from the pilot.
They got their fastball. That's what I'm talking about.
Now, it is funny to hear what Reps did to everybody, how it changed and evolved.
Well, that second voice, so Lois says the first thing, that second voice is the original Chris, which again is not Seth Green, who's done it for the entire run of the show. So yeah, it's a fun historical document. I like when lost media gets found.
Q101.com has that whole thing for you. And how about we call right now, 312-591-8300. Q101 presents Silver Sun Pickups. So incredible at Ahoy a few years back with Bush when they opened up that show at the Salt Shed, one of the first shows ever at the Salt Shed. Actually, it was the first show at the Salt Shed. This one's going to be at the Riv. It's Sunday, July 20th. Tickets are on sale now, and you get 2 tickets furnished by our great friends, JM Productions, and of course, from Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.